All right, and we're live. Hello, hello. I'm Steve, K5ATA. Thank y'all for coming. Thank you for being here. Sorry, we're probably about a minute late because Ape and I were talking fun stuff. So, what's up, Ape?
Wasting time. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for having me on, Steve.
So, let's see. Got a few folks in the house already. Good to see that Don, I'm going to make a liar out of his phone call, but Weeks over there in Richardson is doing okay. Things got kind of cold over there, from what I understand.
Yeah, stay warm, man. Stay safe.
So, what you been up to?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Um, just the regular stuff. I still haven't got my antenna situation straight out there. I was calling it my crap antenna that I got out there right now, just the way it's mounted. And I fired it up today for the first time in about a week, and actually was able to pick up some. I was listening to a guy in England on SSB on 20 meters. So I was like, "What?"
I might have been
Yeah,
listening to that same homie today. I was in here working, and I have the Raspberry Pi on a big screen over there. That my wife's still upset that that's what's running on the big screen. And I've got the POTA spots and DX Summit running over there, and so I was like, hey, I'm in there working. I see it pop up. I turn over. I was like, I might give him a shot. I never did though. And that's him, SKT. Sorry, Don. I couldn't remember your call for the life of me, but it escapade me. Oh, I never did the obligatory YouTube junk.
I know
Um,
you got to get your disclaimer
Got to
out.
get my disclaimer in there. So if y'all would do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe. We would definitely appreciate it. If by some miraculous chance you're not already subscribed to the ape, open up another tab, head over to the Smoking Apes channel and sub him as well. There are some links down below that help support the Padawans, which we're going to do a little talking about some Padawans here in a minute. Some Amazon links that I do make a little bit of change off of there. Doesn't cost you anything else. And Patreon link down below too. So if y'all want to help support the Padawans, we would greatly appreciate it. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there too. If you have an old radio that you ain't using, I know a kid who can use it. So I'm running out of fangs, man. My I've got more kids ready to test than I expected, and a few folks have said they're sending a couple our way, a few our way, but it's a good problem to have. So if you've got an old radio you're not using, I'm good on the Zed. Throw it in a box, and I'll even pay you back for postage or whatever. So
Yeah, you were saying that you're running low on your inventory there.
and I didn't expect to. A few weeks ago, folks asked, they're like, "Hey, you got enough things for the Padawans?" And I was like, "Yeah, it should be good," because at that time I was looking at 12 or 13 maybe kids, and normally you have 12. A couple of them will panic on the test day, so you're lucky to get 9 actually licensed. And I hadn't had one. Had 6 tests, which I'll go ahead and throw that shout out now too. Steve KO4AFL's in here, and he has gone above and beyond and done some yoga bending over backwards to get testing sessions for the Padawans. So we've had two testing sessions for him. Had 3 more get licensed. Was it last night? I think it was last night. My days are all blurring together. And so 3 more got licensed last night and are anxious to get on the air. And we're snowed out of school, so I can't even get to them to get them a radio yet. But so anywho, so if you have
Well,
one, throw it in the
how
mix.
many more in the pipeline? How many in the pipeline?
I've got 13 in the pipeline still. It looks like so.
That's great.
I'm like, and I've got a few of them that have kind of taken interest from other classes that are not in the quote unquote Padawan class that they've kind of heard about it, or I've kind of hit them up and said, hey, you kind of strike me as the kind of feller that would be into this. So
What about the other educators? I know that there was one guy that ended up getting licensed.
yeah, in fact, he got licensed, and so Steve KO4AFL and I were sitting in there last night getting ready for the testing session, and I have to be in those. Well, I guess their mama can come in and say yes, that's my baby, but I go in there because kids don't have their own legal ID, so I kind of serve as their identifier. And so
Like
we're
I know that dude.
yeah, it's like I know him. That is Jake. But so the other guy Curtis came, and he was showing up to kind of learn how to do it because he and I are gonna and hopefully my wife, she's up to getting 71 on the practice test for general. She's in there cramming right now. But
It's awesome.
hopefully we'll have our three so that from now on, when I have a kid or two ready, through Glarg, we can get it set up, and we can just test the kid. And
Whenever you just
yeah,
gotta.
I don't have to wait to try to schedule dates with Laurel, and and they've been great. They've come to the school to you know give our testing and stuff, but some of the Laurel, how do I want to put that, um, rules, regulations, I don't know what it is. I'm just, and trying to wait the time to get enough people that can come at a certain time and everything. It'd just be easier in the long run, I think, if we just have the three of us, since we all three work at the school anyway.
Yeah, it sounds like that's the way to go.
Just be like, boom, you're staying in here during my planning period, and
We're going to get this done.
get her done, man. So, but I'm, if you don't care, I'm gonna brag on my Padawans for a minute though, unless you got something just pressing, because
No, but Scout 75 is on here. He says he needs your address.
it's on the Zed, man. If you have to log in, I think, to see it. If it, you know what, I'm gonna lose that in the. Whoa, Kyle's here. He must be snowed out of tennis. But yeah, I'll shoot you an email, Scout. But it's on the Zed. If you have to log in and then search me up. It's in there. But so we had these three kids get their license yesterday, and one girl, two boys, and the girl, by the way, perfect score. Didn't miss
That's
a
great.
one. But obviously, I can't see these guys because there's ice and snow on the ground, and I know y'all up north are laughing at us because but down here that's just bumper car weather. I mean, we don't play with it, and so I'm staying at the house, and I'm sitting in here working, and all of a sudden I hear the repeater key up, and it's one of the Padawan's call signs. Well, he and I tried to work each other, and he just can't quite hold the repeater. And homie went and figured out Echolink on his own. And if you've ever tried to do Echolink, to set it up, you got to do some yoga tricks and stuff to get that working.
Yeah, well, you got to do some figure in there. And I don't know I don't remember seeing too many YouTube videos about it.
Now, well, there's fitting to be one because he got it up.
Oh, Jason's going to put one up.
Yeah. So, well,
I'm just teasing.
actually,
I'm just
the
teasing.
Padawan is going to put one out.
Oh,
So,
that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
he's on the air, and I'm talking to him, and the club president's talking to him, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, I figured out how to connect it to other Echolink nodes, and I talked to some folks in New York, and I was like, dude, you can start talking all over the world, man, hit it. And so I shot him an email later. I was like, hey, how do you feel about putting together a little presentation to show the club? And it won't be the best quality YouTube video in the world, because you know how those go when you try to video record a.
Man, mine ain't so good either, so it's all right. It's all right.
So, well, anytime you try to record a live class or presentation, it never really goes. The audio is never perfect and whatnot, but I don't care because, he's going to have a presentation. He's going to teach a bunch of folks how to do Echolink, and whether they know it or not, he owns what he just took off running with. I mean, that's his thing now. So he's going to present it to the class and show them how to get on it.
He's like, I'm Mr. Echolink.
And, dude's like 13 years old. And
That's great.
I was like, hit it, brother. So, yep, whenever the next club meeting is, I don't know when it is, the first Monday or two. I don't know. My wife reminds me. And hopefully he'll have it done by then, and I'll have that video out. So y'all will have to be kind in the thumbs down area for the audio because he's 13, but he's fixing to do a fantastic job with it. So,
well, if he's using your audio equipment, it'll be questionable.
no,
So,
he's using the
the
GoPro Hero 9 audio equipment, what he's going to be using. So it does have that cool little shotgun microphone on it. So
those are cool.
You can tell my daughter hasn't watched the stream of you and I in a while. She just texted me and said, I thought TheSmokinApe didn't show his face. So I guess the last video she's seen from you is back in the day of.
It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, before you were showing your face. She's confused because you don't tell.
I got a pretty good catalog she needs to catch up on. I could use the views.
So yep. So child unit, you better get on it. No, Ape doesn't tell people where he lives. He just lets them know it's Nebraska.
Right.
So
Earth.
Yeah,
or
it's
the
flat,
earth.
so you can walk for a while. Just don't fall off the edge.
Yeah, but there's an ice wall. There's an ice wall that goes around on the edges. It holds everything in.
That's good because there's an ice wall around my camper right now too. So that's
Speaking of that, just hope everybody down there in ice world these days is taking care and being safe. Um, it's a scary thing. Like you hear about these folks who don't have water because their pipes are frozen, and no heat in the house, and people are doing things that are questionable.
yeah,
Um,
they're worse than questionable. I mean,
well, there's a lot of reports of people sleeping in cars with the cars running, and it's a good way to not wake up in the morning.
yeah, let's okay. Google carbon monoxide. I'm just saying.
Well, on the news this morning, they were talking about people who were like burning their house down because they were bringing in barbecue grills and running a grill in the house, and then also running charcoal grills in the house that release all that carbon monoxide. I get that some folks may not be experienced or understand what's going on there, and it's a scary situation, when you're freezing.
Yeah,
Um, but just be careful, folks, and be safe. Make the right decisions.
just put on a bunch of layers and just bundle up and get you some of that campfire coffee.
Well, you got somebody who's been in sub-freezing temperatures for 2 or 3 days. You start thinking and doing stuff that you normally wouldn't do. Um, it's a scary thing, man.
It is, and I'm on a fire department, and I'm honestly surprised I haven't had a fire call for something stupid like that. Because every
Yeah.
winter, that's kind of the running thing. Is as soon as that first cold snap comes, you're going to get a house fire because somebody's got their outdoor buddy heater inside or something, and those things just get hot. They start putting off sparks and stuff, and it just gets to be a mess.
Well, they're outdoor heaters for a reason. The other thing is they're saying that one of the bigger problems is the gas in Texas isn't flowing because the wind turbines have frozen. This is what really bothers me about the whole thing is that a lot of people are using that as an opportunity to politicize clean energy. And they're like, well, we shouldn't be using those wind turbines. See what happens? They cost people's lives. And, the reality is that maybe they should have built a heating device inside the turbine. You know what I mean? Like when
Well,
you
they've
do
got
these,
heating devices in the ones up north.
yeah. So the thing is that, there's things that are possible and there's things that are probable. And you got to figure out what the right balance around any solution that you engineer is. But um, to say that clean energy is bad because the wind turbines froze, it's just so stupid. Hopefully people can see through that.
Yeah, Kyle's in there saying at least light a fire in your dryer.
Right. It's got a flue. That's smart thinking, Kyle. See, I always look to him for the answers.
So yeah, we in fact beer snacks in there. Yeah, we generally get at least several chimney fires every year where people don't maintain their chimney. They go
Sure.
burning pine or something in there that all that creosote builds up, and next thing you know, it's on fire. So
When I was in high school, I was dating this girl, and her dad did not like me at all.
I
He's
can't
like,
imagine why.
yeah, me either. But he was like, I don't know why you're dating that guy. He's no good. He's a dumbass. All this mean stuff. And one day, like, a bunch of my friends were over, and we are getting ready. We're going to go pick up our girlfriends and go to the movies or something like that. And we hear fire engines. And one of my buddies is like, what if that's going to somebody's house that we know? We're like, no, it's not. Sure enough, my girlfriend's dad took the Christmas tree and chopped it up and put it in the fireplace,
Oof.
lit it on fire. And the fire department had to come out, and they had to chop a hole in the roof to make sure that nothing was burning between the top floor and the chimney and all that stuff. And they had to chop a hole in the second floor to make sure there's no fire there. And they had to pour all this water down the chimney, and it like ruined the hardwood. So I went over and picked her up, and I remember just walking in and looking at the mess and everything, and then looking at the dad and being like, oh, I'm the dumbass, right?
Yep, that's it. So, yeah, chimney fires they get messy in a hurry because if you've never been on a fire scene, yeah, they don't. The chainsaw comes out, they just start cutting.
Well, you got to. You don't know
And
what's going to happen, right?
it's just kind of the way it rolls. So, got a bunch of folks in here. I kind of fell down on the job with saying hey to folks. So Rhea's in here. Hey, girl. And Dennis. And hey, there's some dude named Smoking Ape in here. Who's that?
when I find out, we got the Dons. We got three of the Dons is what I've seen.
Yeah, we're grateful to see all three Dons too, because
We got a Dan William Myers. I mentioned Scout 75. Bill Crow's in there. He's a good old fella.
yeah, he runs a group of kiddos out in Oklahoma,
And
which
then KF0 CRF Clint. He's a he's a regular on these streams. Kyle. Kyle snuck in. We talked about him already,
I
I
didn't
think,
see Tom
Andy.
sneak in though.
Tango.
Tango
He,
Oscar Mike.
he put out a video where he sits on his hind end and slides down this icy driveway that he's got outside his house. It was pretty funny. He started cooking while he was going down there. I'm like, what if he hits the garage?
So
Next scene's going to be him at the hospital.
well, funny you mentioned that. I told you I'm on the fire department, and I'm sitting here. It wasn't my station's call, so I didn't get to go see the whole thing. But I'm sitting here working, and the fire radio goes off, and I kind of stop and listen, see if it's for me or not. And appreciate that, Dennis. Yep, fund the Padawans, because we are definitely cooking in that department. But anyhow, so I'm sitting here, and it's a sledding accident, and I'm like, okay, well, see how this goes. Homie's like somehow or another we're in Mississippi, so he took his 4-wheeler out into the middle of some pasture somewhere, and I guess found an old truck hood or something. I don't know what he was sledding on, but he slid down a hill and straight into a tree and broke both legs.
Wow.
And apparently he's there by himself. So he gets on the phone, and he can't.
Oh, you mean he didn't use a ham radio to call for help in an
No,
emergency
he
like
didn't. Although it's funny because my wife and I are kind of writing a little kids book series, and that's kind of along the lines of one of them. I was like, hey, honey, we should record this and use some of this for the book. But he couldn't tell anybody where he was. I forget the guy's name. We'll call him Old Man Wilson's pasture. Well, apparently Old Man Wilson owns about 900 acres of pasture, and it's all wooded. And so, they're out there. You hear them on the radio. They're yelling and hollering and trying to find him in this house. Y'all need a little fox hunting now. But
he's like down at the sycamore tree.
So,
I'm just surprised that guy didn't try to sue Old Man Wilson.
So it's probably
he left a hood. He left a hood in his property that I slipped on.
It just happened today. That may be coming yet.
Right.
We are definitely a sue happy society nowadays. So.
Well, take it really far away from him radio. That lady who put the Gorilla Glue in her hair, did you see that on the news?
I did.
And she's famous for putting Gorilla Glue in her hair, is now trying to sue Gorilla Glue, saying that the instructions didn't say it wasn't a product for hair styling.
It's freaking glue.
Well, I mean, right.
That's like the McDonald's person that sued because the coffee was hot. It's like
it's hot coffee. Says right.
I would use Gorilla Glue on mine. Then I wouldn't have to shave it every day. I have to shave that clean every day before my stream, just so it's nice and shiny for y'all.
Can you imagine being like, oh, I need some product for my hair. Oh, only thing I got is Gorilla Glue. I'll just use this.
Now, I didn't watch or read the whole thing. What was she trying to accomplish with it?
You know what? That part I don't know. I just saw that she was in the news for putting the Gorilla Glue. And I use Gorilla Glue all the time for stuff. And it is no joke. And then I saw on the news later that she was planning to sue Gorilla Glue. And then Gorilla Glue had to come out and issue some sort of apology statement.
I'm sorry you were stupid enough to put this in your hair.
It's ridiculous.
So I got to defend the old McD coffee later. I don't think so. Cotton. I'm not even going there. Anime is in there defending the coffee lady.
I like the hey anime. I like the Seinfeld where Kramer got burned by the coffee, and the lawyer's thought process around the whole thing was just hilarious.
Scout's in there saying she did it on purpose to be internet famous.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because I read the news a lot. There's another one on there where there's a thing called the Gorilla Glue Challenge now, and some moron got a Solo cup glued to his bottom lip. He was saying that Gorilla Glue isn't that sticky, and then he put it on the cup and then got it stuck to his face, and it's just like I just don't even get it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not. I thought about going there, but I'm not gonna. So
T.O. always says stupid should hurt, right? And
stupid should hurt, and stupid apparently did hurt Lip Boy.
could
So
could you imagine?
so
Yeah, somebody said something about Gorilla Glue suing the lady. Yeah, Gorilla Glue should be like, she's giving our product a bad name. We're suing her.
yeah, have you seen the mess she made of her hair? So hang on, the coffee's running out in a hurry, man. I got a whole pot in here between 3 cups, and it's kind of running low. So I'm a little upset though, Anime. You don't drink other coffee. Coffee is the Lord's drink. So
I got to tell you, it's been a while since I had a cup of coffee.
so you just people who don't like coffee just haven't made it thick enough. That's my reasoning there.
Dennis said he's had many a super glue incidents. I had one where I glued my get in here. I glued my thumb to my pinky, and then I started to get a real bad cramp in my hand, and I just had to pop it off. But yeah, crazy glue and all that stuff can be can be tricky stuff to work with.
And that crazy glue stuff bonds to skin like insta
Like
fast.
crazy glue.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy with a K, man, and it's just I don't know. My dad used to use that stuff when he'd cut himself. He'd just glue himself back together.
Yeah, I've seen
So
seen folks
I'm
do
not
that.
tough like that though. I just kind of duct tape it.
Weep,
So
we weep and duct tape it.
yeah, or electrical tape in the case of my finger, and that's how that worked out. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but what else you got going on? You have not messed with the antenna, which it still works better than an antenna in a box, Jason.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's weird the way that it works. Like in the morning time, I can pick up 80 meters regionally really, really well, and that's been fun to play around with. And then today I just flipped it on, and the reason I flipped it on is that so I bought a mixer about a week ago for this stuff, and I was playing around with it. And one of the things that happens now is the compressor on my beer fridge kicks on or off. I get like a really loud pop in my headset. And so today I wanted to see if I was getting any RFI from the mixer on the radio. So I just fired it up. And when I did, my noise floor was ridiculously low. And I was getting really strong signals all over the place on 20 meters. So I just picked one of the bigger ones and I clicked on it. And like I said, it was a single sideband conversation, a dude from England. I'm sure he had a good antenna, directional with something pointing over here or something. But I was really, really taken aback and surprised. So I'll play around with it more over the next couple of days before I go back out there and rerun the coax over to my old antenna, which is still up.
So I need to address a couple coffee comments in here. N8 Vox, he roasts his own coffee, truly the best. I'm just gonna say, my address is good on the Zed. And Steve G0LQP, he drinks mostly espresso for his coffee, and I've gotten to where that's kind of what I do, but I don't make it like espresso because I drink it too fast for that. So I buy espresso roast and I just fill the little basket all the way to the top, and I just make pots of espresso roast. It's not quite as strong as brewing it the espresso way, but it's still got more kick than just typical dark roast stuff.
Yeah, we I get these little jars of this instant espresso mix. It's some Italian brand and it's got like a green lid and stuff like that on there. And I do take that when I go cold camping, and which normally in a non-COVID environment I do a couple times a year with my buddies. But it's been about 18 months since the last trip I've done, and which really sucks because I enjoy doing that. But it gets cold, and like we go in below freezing weather, and sleep in hammocks and all that kind of stuff. So a nice hot cup of something or other to drink, like hot Miller Lite, isn't the best thing in the world. So a nice hot cup of espresso helps keep you going in those temperatures.
Well, considering cold Miller Lite is not the best thing in the world, hot Miller Lite is
Well,
definitely not.
I got to tell you, on those freezing winter trips, the best part about it is you don't need a cooler for your beer. Um,
This is I definitely don't need one outside right now. I've got my own 20 acres worth of cooler, I guess.
there you go. Save you some ice. I it's funny because I have a little cooler that I use, my beer cooler, and everybody's like, why don't you put your beer in the fridge and all this stuff? And I just like ice cold beer, like in the cooler. And my wife's like, that's so white trash that you make a cooler all the time and you have a cooler full of beer. And I'm like, you know, I work hard, and I've gotten to a point in my life where I can afford to have a cooler full of beer with me at all times, and that's what I'm going to do. And so,
I just picture you going down, go down to the basement or wherever she's banished you for your radio and stuff. And
look, I'm not joking. It's right here. This is my Maxpedition cooler,
oh, at least
my
it's a nice cooler. She can't call you trash. It's a Maxpedition.
Maxpedition tactical cooler, and that's what I put my beer in there, a little bit of ice.
It's tactical, so it's automatically 10 degrees cooler.
Yeah. Well, that cooler, it's a little beat up, but I mean, it looks pretty good. It's probably 5 years old. I mean, it's just as good as it was the day I got it.
I'm surprised you still don't put anything good in there, though.
What are you talking about? Miller Lite, 6 gold medals, official beer in NASCAR.
I'm not going to talk about NASCAR either.
I'm not really a fan of NASCAR so much, but I'm a fan of the lifestyle. Have you been to a race?
I have not.
It's a lot of fun.
I just I can kind of watch the highlights and be good on that. I just want to watch the crashes.
Well, I had a vendor, and the sales guy calls me up. He's like, "Hey man, I need you to do me a favor." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, I got 8 tickets to this race," and he goes, "and I need to take somebody because my boss wants me to take people out, take clients out to stuff." And he's like, "Would you go to the race?" And I'm like, "You telling me that I got 8 tickets to this race?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're done. We're going." We had full on pit passes and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Kyle's throwing a little shade at you in there, but that's all right. We love you anyway, Kyle.
He says ape in the resume of Miller Lite.
So
Yeah, we got a lot of folks in there
yeah,
today.
sorry, I needed another swig of that Joe.
That's all right, man.
But
Get you do you, brother.
so, but anywho, so what else we got coming up? Let's see, we got
Kyle.
officially scheduled our next theme night coming up.
Yeah, next theme night is March 15th. We have not picked a theme yet. But Kyle has third Friday night. He's got his what is it called? His trivia night.
Trivia, and he just get. I think I remember Kyle confirm. I think it's public on the build, isn't it? Didn't you already kind of shout that out?
I don't know if he did or
I don't
not.
want to say anything further than that until Kyle confirms or denies.
But yeah, that's going on. After we're done here tonight, Ham Nation, right? That's what it's called. Ham Nation is over on HRCC's channel.
Yep, and
Thursday night ham radio tomorrow.
Josh is going to have some competition from Thunder Sisters on Twitch.
That's his girls or the Thunder
Yeah.
sisters. They do some kind of gaming.
So, and
Is your daughter in cahoots with them or?
I don't think so on that. My daughter has been. I don't think she's probably still watching. She's only good for about 10 minutes of my. She hears me talking all day, but she has been covered up with this AC. Am I quiet here? I'll get closer. Sorry, Greg. She has been covered up with the ACT and AP stuff, and she's got the next ACT test she's taking next week, I think, next Tuesday, and she's just been cramming it. So, I would be surprised if she is. Hey, go for it, kid. But if you're not,
Does she know where she's going to go to school or?
she's kicking around options. She's just a junior, so she's got a whole nother year, and she broke 30 on the ACT last time, so now she's starting to get the offers or the come look at my school stuff. And fortunately, if there's one thing that this wonderful pandemic has done for my daughter, it has made her a lot more leery of wanting to go super super far away from home for college.
Well,
So
I got to tell you, kids today are more codependent than when we were kids. And I'm not trying to be an old man being like, hey, in my day, like when I was a kid, if I rode my bike across town and my bike got stolen, I had to walk home, right? So I was careful about stuff. Kids today have cell phones and they can call people. They even can get an Uber and do all this. They have so many life supports that we didn't have as kids. It makes it tough. So as my daughters are growing up, like we've known a lot of families who've had daughters that have gone and sons who've gone away to college. And they didn't like it. They wanted to come home almost immediately, to the point where one of the moms went and got an apartment right in the college town and lived next to the college, so the daughter felt comfortable.
Negative
And
Ghost Rider.
and sure enough, the daughter came home, and the parents had plinked down like 40 grand for the first year of college. And there was a lot of those experiences that were happening. Fortunately, my daughter, she goes to school, she goes to a state college. But when she was applying for colleges all over the place. And I told my wife, I was like, look, yeah, she's a great kid. She's a fantastic kid. But I feel that if she's going to school that far away, there's going to be some homesickness here and it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, she wants to go into neonatal medicine, and so that kind of tapers down where she realistically can go anyway. And
Yeah,
fortunately, there's a school, Mississippi State, that my dad actually went there, but she for years she's like, oh, I don't want to go there. And then she started doing some research, and they have 100% acceptance rate out of their pre med program into med school. She's like,
that's great.
okay, well, that's one of them that's kind of courting her right now too. So I'm like, even better, kid, scholarship, baby.
Yeah, my uncle was a neonatologist. Um, it's a hard life. Um, my daughter, she's going to school. She was going to school for cellular biology, but she's talking about switching her major to audiology, where it's like ear doctor or something like that. Um, I don't, I
She,
don't,
she can get all that earwax out of your ears.
I need some help somehow. She's got like this giant ear in her room that you can take apart, and it's got like all the nerves and stuff in there.
So, yep, Kyle, that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna get that bachelor's at the state school, where honestly, it sounds like her. From what I've read, her ACT scores are already high enough that at least 3 of the years are going to end up being free.
Oh
So
wow.
now she's just working on getting that full ride. She's at that point in math where she just hasn't had the math that gets her up to the 34 and 35 in math. But just a matter of timing, and this Rona really kind of jacked up some of it. She's supposed to have gotten a bunch of it this year, and with all this hybrid stuff and whatnot, it's not moving at the speed it's supposed to. So
Yeah, my daughter, she was taking these math classes when she was in high school, and she's like, "Well, Dad, you're good at math. Can I have a problem? Can you help me out?" And I was like, "You sure this ain't spelling class? Because these math problems got a bunch of letters in there. Looks like they're trying to write words."
well, that's just it. In fact, my wife was in there. She's like, all right, so she's kind of looking through her ACT stuff for English and reading. And she goes, you want to look at the math? I'm like, I can look at like the first 20. I'm like, after that, they start getting symbols in there that I don't remember. I mean, I've been out of school. I'm pushing 50, brother. I mean, I've been out for a minute,
Right.
and ooh,
Well, yeah, I remember in college sweating through some pretty hard math classes and thinking, I'm going to need this. And, I've been working in IT for 25 years. I've never used not even hardly any of it.
you know,
I guess I didn't need to learn it.
it's funny you mention that because my daughter today just was asking some complicated math thing. If you're still watching, kid, text me or put it in the chat. She's some kind of proof, but it wasn't like a typical geometry triangle proof or whatever. It was some trig thing. I don't know. I didn't understand it, and it was obvious from my face. I kind of had that look like, okay. But I told her, I was like, well, I told her the story about when I was in geometry in school, and I got kicked out of the class because teacher's like, hey, prove this is a triangle. I'm like, homie, it got three angles and three straight lines. It's a triangle. And he's like, no, get out. And,
Right.
and I told her, I was like, the problem is not that he didn't teach it well, I guess. He never explained why you would actually need it. If you don't explain to anybody why they're going to use or how they might actually use it someday, what's the point, man?
Well, like I remember in college, like we had this thing that we had to work on for a couple weeks where it was like you have a rocket ship that you shoot in the air and it weighs a certain certain amount of weight, and then you have this much fuel in it, and when you shoot it up, this is how much fuel it uses based off of the gravitational pull. And then as the fuel burns, the rocket gets lighter, and you had to figure out at what point, and it took like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to figure this out, that the rocket will fall back to Earth because it ran out of fuel to push it up. There's still fuel in it, but they ran out of enough to keep the momentum going. And, it was the worst thing ever. And I'm like, I've never had to think about anything like that since that class.
So yeah, you should have watched. Oh, what's that movie? It's the Rocket Boys one.
Mm. And then
Uh,
I would have been like, back in my day, we talked about this in school.
but yep, and Greg Haskey's in there saying math is one of the things Google is good for, which is exactly what I tell my kids. I'm like, look, if you can Google it, I'll just teach you how to Google it. I mean, anything that's like rote memorization kind of stuff. I mean, nowadays kids need to learn how to Google things effectively.
Well, what about when the grid's down?
So, well, we're gonna go talk to Jason because he's gonna help us
Right.
out with some emergency vids, man.
Right. Right.
But yeah, or just go find Grid Down guy.
Yeah, he probably with his I love that he has the Coleman stove
Yeah.
as his go box or go kit or whatever it is. I actually have that Coleman stove in the back of my Jeep, um, which has come in handy. But
That's it.
it's
October
hilarious.
Sky. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
KATSG said it's October Sky. So yeah, if you have not seen October Sky, I mean they like light like a forest on fire with their rocket engine and stuff. It's awesome. I was like,
I
yeah,
have to I have to check it out.
good flick. So of course To's like Space Cowboys. No, not that one. Good movie, but no, that's not it. So
Buckaroo Banzai.
yeah,
Was that it?
but so anyhow, so yeah, that's kind of my thing with, and it's kind of the same way I go with the kids and the Padawans and stuff. There's some of that stuff that, well, honestly, I guess the kiddo that figured out Echolink remembered it from his test, and he's like, well, I'm gonna go look and see what this Echolink thing, how to figure it out, and he got it going. So, he Googled it up. He didn't have to know how to set all that crap up ahead of time, and he just kind of needs to know that it's there. Oh, Grid Down guy is going to be a nugget coming up on To's channel.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
That's
When I first started getting into ham radio, I actually did play around with Echolink a little bit because I like listening to weather reports, which is super nerdy, and I get it. And what I liked to do is that if there was, a Arctic freeze of Texas, I would go in repeater book and find out all the repeaters down there that would have Echolink enabled, and then I would listen in, to hear what the locals were saying was going on. I do that a lot with DMR now. And it wasn't in the DMR back then, so I was using Echolink. But Echolink has always been a difficult thing to use for me. Like the app crashes and it has bugs in it, and
and the sign up process, as I remember, it's like this convoluted. You have to sign up from a computer, and it's
yeah,
kind of a pain in the butt. And yeah, I guess To said I said old guys playing with rockets. Well, they're old now. They weren't old
right,
then.
right,
That's what
right.
I meant, To. Shut up. Uh oh, here goes my fire radio.
So I mean, the concept behind Echolink is good, but I'm sure there's people like that's not real ham radio. Like we've got a local repeater that I was talking about before we started that is Echolink enabled, and they'll talk about how DMR is not real ham radio,
But
but they'll
they
use
have
Echo.
Echo Link,
They have right. They have Echolink on the repeater.
which is using their phone. They're not even holding a radio.
I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Let's see.
Coffee's
W5FC was a good one to listen to yesterday. A lot of people can't go back to the minor leagues.
So let's see what else we got going in here.
I just mixed up the chat rolled. I mixed up two messages.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll back and catch up here. It's been a minute. So yeah, Anime's got a few videos out. Wild Cascadia. She changes her name like I change my underwear like every 2 weeks.
Now, Cascadia, I'm like, what the heck is a wild Cascadia? So I Googled it. Grid was up, so I was able to Google it. And that is an area, not a defined by law area of California that I understand, where they're into things like green energy. But I could be wrong, but I think that's what I read. I think that's what the words were telling me.
So I don't know why. For some reason, I guess in my head, I thought Anime was up in like Oregon or something like that. Oregon.
Well, it's probably that whole area, California, Oregon, and then they go east a little bit into whatever states there. And I think it's more of a cultural boundary as opposed to a political boundary.
And
If
no,
it makes
Anime, we
sense.
can pronounce it. We just don't quite know what it means. You need to give us a little education. So we need an educational experience there. So, and yeah, that's a good point. Scout says, if they say it's not real ham radio, odds are they just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot. I spent a fair bit of time programming other people's DMR radios.
She says it's called a bioregion.
A bioregion.
We're getting to British Columbia.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what that means exactly, but
I'm not. You can ask your kid. You said she was doing cellular biology or something like that. Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
That's it. What is this here bioregion I'm hearing about on the internet? That's what I'll.
So she posts again in a few days. So, yep. So if you haven't checked out her channel, you might want to check it out. Somebody can drop a link to her. You can probably Google it up. Grids up. Wild Cascadia Radio.
Yeah, so it's probably not too much Cascadia radio.
No, well, since Ape had never seen that word before yesterday, or whenever he Googled it, it's probably.
I was thinking it was like some kind of butterfly or something. I had no idea.
I keep picking up the coffee cup that's empty. This is hang on, I got a.
You got another one? You got yourself a standby sidecar?
Brother, I got two sidecars. I got sidecar and sidecar, so we're good.
Nice.
So of course this sidecar is approaching the halfway. The halfway mark. The Harry Potter.
Like your innards are probably stained black from all that coffee.
Okay.
Right, like I'm cool with it, bro.
I can't see it.
Right, doesn't matter anyway.
Makes no difference to me. I got Twitter so I can brag about you all, the radio friends. So I'm not sure that Ape and I are the ones you want to brag about.
Right, you get Twitter banned, deplatformed.
You might, Twitter been banning all kinds of folks, and you might want to be careful what you say out there on the Twitter.
Yeah, K5YVY saying that dang custom solo cup again. That's right. This is my man size solo cup.
Yeah, Wifey Y is my neighbor now. Not that I could actually drive to his house. He's all of what would normally be a 30-minute drive. Less if I hit the button with the lights on it.
I don't remember what day it is, but I added him to the schedule. It's either Thursday or Monday coming up. He's doing a video. I don't know what the topic is.
I can't. Thump keep. It's not my game, Thump. I keep leaning back to drink coffee and getting away from the microphone.
But I tell you, Thump has been a big help to me. I bought this mixer. I was talking about it earlier, and just trying to figure it out. He's whooping up a cable for me so I can run my 7300 through the mixer, which I'm very excited about. And he's helping me getting it all dialed in right. So big shout out to Thump. And he's got a website, exploringhamradio.net. He's got some updating to do there. But he's always working on other projects. So
yeah, YVY's on the Monday Night Ham Radio, T.O. says. So that Monday Night Ham Radio schedule is just getting complicated, brother.
Oh my God.
I keep looking at it thinking, I don't want a headset no. But it's just, when you start getting these 17-minute jobs and.
Well, that's where it gets really difficult. And so what's happening is that folks are. I know that when you create a video, people are proud of it. I'm the same way, and you always think that this is the one, bro. This is the one, and it's like I can't get it any shorter than 22 minutes or whatever it is. And I'm guilty. I've done it. So now we've got a gap in the schedule that we need to work around or fill, and it's just become a logistical nightmare. It's a great problem to have because we have more and more creators producing fantastic content. But just scheduling it into the window that we've got has become such a challenge.
So, yeah, and y'all have got that little workaround thing with the scheduling of premieres on not the 15 minutes, and I'm just like, ooh, I half the time I'm racing in just to make it on time. I'm not going to remember to hit it on my phone to adjust the time. I can just tell you that right now.
Well, I'm saying if I got to explain how to do the time hack again.
Well, I know how to do it. It's just, I'll be honest with you, man. I wake up at 5:04 in the morning, and that coffee starts.
Right.
I'm running till I hit the pillow usually at night.
Kyle's totally right. Saying pushing a video into 13 minutes is tough. There is no doubt that what we're doing is tough. There's no doubt. And that's why I'm like, hey, I'm trying to accommodate everybody, trying to help, trying to do it right. But where it gets tough is that when everybody's videos are not of the same length, and then
Which
sometimes we'll butt them up to each other. Sometimes we'll have a little bit of a break. Like some people need to make water. Like I'm one of those guys. I got to make water at least once an hour, and
it's because you
so it's
drink
just
so much
just
water.
yeah, just figuring it out is a challenge.
But yeah, and Kyle's right. Really, Google needs to just fix the scheduling. But honestly, for all the insight that Google has had, I don't think they ever anticipated having a group of creators get together and just stacking content like that. So,
I haven't seen it. I mean, I have varied content. I like to watch barbecue, cat videos, stuff like that. And I've never seen anybody doing what we're doing. Not that we're like super uber innovative or anything like that, but it is really fun. It's a really good thing to be part of.
and you're right, that would be really cool if Google could just fix that up for us. It doesn't seem like it would be that complicated. I'm not a coding cat. Well, not to that level. I imagine To could probably code that up.
Well, I'm gonna write a letter.
So I'm sure that.
Richard Hopkins is like, make water. You're sounding like my great grandfather there, Ape.
So
That's what they say, right? I got to make water.
apparently Richard doesn't know you too well yet.
Well,
So,
there's time.
but oh, Joseph's saying something about me on a regular basis, but I missed what he said I'm doing, and
Yeah,
probably
you're
just
probably
drinking coffee. Who knows? So
right.
that's it. In fact, that's how my kid knew that it was Wednesday. I went in there and I made another pot, right? Because this pot of coffee, my stream pot, I started right at 6 o'clock. And, because
Making sure it's ready.
well, this coffee pot's kind of got a few miles on it now, so it takes a few minutes longer to. I really need to get another one. I go through these things like toilet paper.
You just need to get a coffee pot in that room.
And, well, I'll end up spilling it and making a mess, and I don't think she's watching, but it's just not worth the yelling time.
My I have a buddy at work, and he actually says that his wake up alarm clock is a pot of coffee. So he's got a pot of coffee on his nightstand, and apparently he's got a doohickeys up on there where he, types in his wake up time every morning, and then the coffee pot kicks off, and that's what wakes him up.
So, well, I can relate to that. And this year I still drive that school bus during school days, so that coffee's got to be ready when I hit it. And I actually have a hydration pack that I have put coffee in before. The problem is it doesn't stay hot, and when you pour it in there hot, especially during hiking weather or whatever, then
Right, right.
you got this hot thing on your back, and so you're already warm anyway because you're out hiking. And
You're
then
talking about like one of those camelback things or something
yeah,
like that?
yeah, I got I did it with the cheap Walmart version. I wasn't wanting to buy one of these expensive ones just to pour coffee in because I figure it's probably pretty much disposable after a few uses. I don't know that you're ever going to really clean it out real well.
I don't know any of them that are insulated. Now, I do have I guess I say Nalgene. I don't know if that's Nalgaline. I don't know the right way to say it. But I was talking about we go winter camping. I was talking about that before. So what we do at night before we go to bed is boil water on the fire and then pour it into those Nalgaline bottles or Nalgene bottles. And you got to be super careful because that plastic, you can burn yourself through the plastic, and then drop it into an insulated sleeve. And then you take that into the sleeping bag with you at night to keep you warm. But as far as anything on the back, I don't know of anything that would be insulated that would do that for you.
No, I mean, I could go through it on a hike, and you're out hiking. It's not like you short of places to make water. It's just, gosh, it's just too hot on the back. So, I end up having to leave it hanging, waiting for a while to go hike, and then it's not as tasty as it was because it's kind of lukewarm coffee, which I'll still drink it.
See, I can't
So
believe that if you're out there sweating, huffing it, getting it done, that you're drinking something that's hot.
it's
Nalgene
coffee.
is how you say it. Um, I like cold drinks. I want it to be refreshing. Like when I open it, I want it to effervesce. You know what I mean?
So Joseph wants to know where he can watch the ape dance, and I'm sworn to secrecy on that file.
You
So
almost got to see it 2 weeks ago.
it was close. I almost had him, but it's
It's a dance I kind of take from two different ones. I take a little bit of the stanky leg and a little bit of dirty squirrel and kind of mix them up together in my own style. Um, just have to wait.
So I guess if the donation amount's high enough, it might happen. But it takes ape swarmy to. I don't think I could do that.
Right, right.
It gets kind of ugly, and then his old lady might see that his dance is public, and
Yeah.
it gets ugly from there.
Tango saying that hot hands, those pads work great in a sleeping bag, and I use them. I've got I don't know if it's a Columbia or a Northern Face. I think it's called like the Triniton. Like it's almost like a parka that I use in super cold weather, and it's got netting inside of it. And I drop hot hands in those, zip it up, and it keeps me warm.
So they're in there saying there's such a thing as iced coffee. There is, but ice dilutes the coffee. So I'll take cold coffee over iced coffee because once it starts melting, then it's just. I mean, it's like I tell my Padawans: if you ever see me putting sugar into coffee, it's because the coffee's too weak, and it just tastes like.
You got to sweeten it up a little bit, huh?
Well, you just got to give it something because weak coffee is like. I don't know. I start to understand why cats like lick their paws and stuff. It's like you got to kind of get that off of the taste off the tongue. Don, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. So, but yeah, the coffee addiction is real, and that's how the kids knew that I wasn't feeling good a couple weeks ago because I only went through one pot that day. Apparently apparently they keep track of how
He
many.
the old man must be sick.
So I'm really sick if I don't brew a pot. I'm like dying that day.
Mm.
So now that's a good point. I could freeze coffee and use ice cubes, but Don said I don't know why I hadn't seen that before. Yeah, it's that little join button down there.
How long have you had that enabled?
I don't know, a couple months now, I guess. It's one of those. I don't know. YouTube's kind of wonky, and some of their things you're eligible for. You just have to kind of email them like or do the little support thing and ask them about it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you're eligible." It's like, why don't you just turn that crap on automatically?
7 months ago, I set up the merch tray on my channel, and it's still not enabled. And I've called twice and belly ached about it. And they're like, "Oh no, should only take 48 hours." I'm like, "That's why I'm calling you."
So yeah, I
And
don't call. I always do the little tech support, and I have never had bad support from Google and YouTube on the little chat online. But then again, it's like the IRS. Honestly, I've never had a rude person at the IRS either. So it's kind of one of those. So
well, I did my first official live stream last weekend, and I am using StreamYard, and StreamYard has to have permissions accepted by YouTube in order to link them together so that StreamYard can control your channel. And it was not working for me for whatever reason, and I couldn't figure it out. And I called, and I was belly aching, and turns out that I had it pointed to the wrong Google ID. So it was my fault.
that
I was
happens
being
sometimes.
yeah.
But yeah, Seth Biker is in here. He's actually a neighbor of mine too. He's just to the north a little bit, and sounds like he likes his coffee like me. It's got to be thick enough he can spoon it out. So just hang on. I'm gonna go ahead and break my cardinal rule and look at my text message because my wife just sent me a 1, 2, 3, 4. She just passed her first general practice exam. It looks like.
Well, that is all right.
So sweet. So that's a good thing. That puts us that much closer to running our own testing at school for the Padawans. So, but YVY, I appreciate that, brother. Who's next on the supper chats instead of the super chats? I see YVY will throw out there that supper takes precedence over live streams sometimes. So
That's funny.
it's one of those things. But yep, I appreciate that. I've got to get some more fangs on the way, and I'm actually probably gonna have to give out the shower radio, as much as I don't want to, because I actually kind of like the shower radio.
I like mine. No, I'm like, this thing's awesome, but I never ever use it.
I don't either, but we have a history. I mean, we showered together and everything, so it's hard to just give that away. Steve, appreciate that, man. Thank you. And yeah, that's not a bad number. It's not my favorite number as far as calibers go, but I will definitely take it. So Thump's wife is studying for tech. That's awesome. So and 301. I've never seen the ape throw down a super chat. Thank you, brother ape.
I
But
got you before, brother.
did you? Oh well, you did on
Yeah.
the the 7300 funding. So no, it's not a 6X2. It's that orange radio. But I need to
It's a GM5 or
GS5B or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
It's one of those Bofangs that Radio Oddity rebranded to say it's not a Bofang.
Radio oddity.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's either way. It's definitely shower proof. I can tell you that. So whatever. In fact, I really should have given that one to the kiddo that ended up figuring out how to Echo Link, because this little dude, he's like building his own log cabin. His family owns land, and like he's legit like hauling logs and building his own log cabin, and like chinking them out and everything. I'm like, he needs a waterproof radio. That's what homie needs.
My buddy was sitting on the couch watching TV, and he hears like this thunderous crash outside. And everyone's like, "What the heck was that?" And they go running out. He's got some woods behind his property, and his son and his friends come running out of the woods. And they had one of those little hand saws, like those pocket survival saws or
Yeah.
whatever. And they sawed through like a tree that was like a foot in diameter, 40 feet tall or whatever. He said they were working on it for 2 days before they took it down.
I got a few more in there. Appreciate y'all. Let's see. Scout, thank you for that. T.O., appreciate it. 5.7 makes a great antenna. And if you haven't seen that video, yep, he antennaed an upper, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did.
And Dennis, thank you. Whoa, dude in the house. Thank you, dude.
Dude doesn't play games.
Dude doesn't play games now. And oh, here they come. Thank you, William Mize. Dennis, thanks y'all. The Padawans are definitely going to be appreciative, because I told him it's kind of ugly. I mean, I told him in the email, I'm like, look, I have so many radios. I have so many kids ready to take a test. This is a first come, first serve basis. So whoever, because some of them, I get it. Their mom doesn't want to take a test on a video camera kind of thing.
And William Myers dropped something in there too.
Oh, thank you, William. Appreciate that.
Scout 75. Did you use that $50 certificate?
I did. In fact, those are the two that they're charging up right now. I got two of them for, I think I ended up paying like $7 or something like that.
Nice.
So, that was when the prices started creeping up a little bit. But we ain't got but 2 minutes left. But I feel like we forgot to mention Huntsville's happening. For a while they had said it wasn't going to happen.
Oh, it is happening legitimately.
And so apparently it's legitimately going to happen, which is nice, because, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump to the east for me.
Nice.
And so I'm looking forward to that one. So
I thought they were just going to do like some kind of virtual something or other.
I don't think so. Although, we're about to lead into Josh's stream here in a minute. And I think he is somebody on Ham Nation is going to talk about it. So, and Beer Snack sent me a QSL card. Thank you. I have to make sure I tell the child unit to make sure I get my mail. I'm never home. It's kind of scary. She drives now, so she gets my mail for me. So she kind of tries to filter it. I'm like, don't filter my mail, kid.
If it's got my name on it, you give it to me.
So, yeah, Don, I'll take I'm not going to be picky. I'll be honest with you. And TSG, thanks for that. If like I said, if you've got a radio, we'll take it. I mean, I've got kids that'll use it. In fact, I've got a mobile radio that Izzo sent me not long ago, and it's in the classroom right now. But I'm sitting there thinking, I can hit the repeater with a handheld from the classroom. I got some cats that live far enough out that they might need that 50 watts to hit it, so I'm going to give that to one of them.
Great.
And but unless you got anything else to say, dude, we're about at our hour, and I don't want to run into HRCC's time. So
Yeah, thanks to everybody for the super chats and watching
Yeah,
and
appreciate
making
that,
it fun.
everybody, and make sure you head on over to Josh's Ham Radio Crash Courses channel for Ham Nation. It is starting right about now. So I appreciate it, everybody. Thanks again for the support of the Padawans. And y'all take care, and we hope to see you on the air.